I can succeed in starting a trading business. Nice to meet you. I'm a person who has achieved my dream through the establishment of Kim's Cove TV trading. Today, we'll be together with the theme of You Too Can Become a Trading CEO. First, the mindset for starting a trading business. These days, the seriousness of early retirement and youth unemployment is emerging as a social issue. At this point, many people are contemplating whether or not to start a trading business. So, should I not start a business? No. You can also start a trading business. How can you start a trading business and become a successful CEO in such a difficult situation? You might want to ask if there is. Yes, I will try to answer that question. I'm a person who has achieved my dream through entrepreneurship. I vividly remember hearing a shocking story from a professor while taking trade English as a minor at school when I was in school. As soon as I heard the professor tell me to imagine myself climbing a Boeing 747 airplane trap, wearing a Burberry coat and holding a 007 bag in one hand, I felt as if the blood in my whole body flowed backward from head to toe. Of course, he also added that being successful in trade is harder than picking stars from the sky, and that not one person out of 100 survives. Of course, at the time, I was in a bleak situation where I couldn't proudly present my resume anywhere as a graduate of a university that had just been established in the province. So then I made a decision. Let's do the trading business as a way to get out of that gloomy situation. It's difficult if you don't think you will be welcomed anywhere, anyway. But I made up my mind to challenge the trading business. But when I thought about what I needed to do that, it was English. Unfortunately, at the time my English ability was very low and I did not have the basic knowledge profile. However, I did not get frustrated and studied English diligently on my own without fear. How did you study on your own? Yes, first of all, I subscribed to the Current Affairs English Research magazine for a long time. I studied really hard with this magazine and it helped me a lot to improve my reading comprehension skills. And to improve my conversation skills, I practiced my conversation diligently by using the English conversation broadcast time from the radio broadcast. Looking back now, I think that the year of perseverance at the time became the basic hardwood that could overcome many hardships that had to be endured in the future trading field. Then how did my social advancement go? Second, the road can be changed at any time. Alleys can become highways or can roads be made by cutting mountains? I guess it's the same with our lives. When I was in my senior year of undergraduate school, I served as an interpreter for 2 weeks at a trade fair that a relative was exhibiting at. There was some immature point in the first conversation with the buyer during my school days, but being able to interpret was a great thing. Of course, it was my first time doing it, but I was able to finish it well. However, I was not easily given the opportunity to express myself properly in society and on the job front. It was really very sad. Fortunately, however, through the introduction of an acquaintance, I got a job at a small trading company that offers import of Japanese machines. After working in general affairs and miscellaneous jobs for about 3 years, my English skill was somewhat helpful in establishing business relationships with the Taiwanese companies as a way to diversify my income lines. As a result, as part of the company's business sourcing expansion, just because I can speak a little English, I opened an export business fund and took on a new business, and I was in charge of pioneering the export business field for about 2 years. Unfortunately, this attempt was doomed to failure. English wasn't everything. Because I had no experience or connections in this field, I couldn't make any progress, and the company owner's decision forced me to end my 5-year career. But then I just couldn't sit still. Based on about 2 years of experience on export business, I started the trading business with the determination to succeed. When I declared independence to start a business, people around me thought that I would not last a year and raised my hand. When I heard that I was running an independent business at a young age, the people around me must have been more than concerned. No, I would have just wanted to ignore it. The feeling of helplessness when I set up a small office and second-hand office equipment and completed business registration was similar to the feeling of a child who lost his way in the middle of a big city and visited it for the first time in his life. I felt very helpless because I had no choice but to suddenly quit the company without a specific plan on what to do. Therefore, what I would like to say to you is that even if you do not necessarily start a trading business, you should always have a plan for when, what, and how to start a business of any kind. Don't they say that only those who are prepared can seize the opportunity when it comes? Anyway, there are many twists and turns and many difficult moments. I was tempted to give up halfway. About 2 years after starting the business, I faced a real crisis. One of the people around me who dreamed of starting a trading business secretly suggested to me that I quit what I was doing at the time and come to him and receive a salary as a professional manager at work. At the time, I was really shaken, but I never gave up and survived to the end and still remain as a living witness in the trading field. So I can have but call it a miracle. Then can I become a trading CEO? Yes. You can be a trading business CEO. No matter how difficult it is now, I think it will be a little better than the difficulties when I went through them. these days, expressions such as gold spoon, silver spoon, and earth spoon have been widely spread. Yes, I was a typical dot spoon when I started. Nevertheless, against all odds, I made it as a trading business CEO. Even I, who is nothing better than you, did it. So what is there that you can't do? The problem is in your heart and your will to make it happen. As you all know, a lot of people these days study abroad and so on. On the other hand, in my case, even if I studied hard on my own in undergraduate school without even having a good foundation in English, how good would that skill be? So I never missed English while working in trade because it is essential for business with foreign countries. In particular, I needed English writing for communication while doing trade work. But my writing skills were lacking, so I suffered a lot of difficulties. However, even at that moment, I did not shrink and bought a basic English grammar book and struggled for several months. But these days, systems that help with the writing and the translation have been developed a lot. However, the biggest problem that founders usually face is that they do not have a proper guide. Of course, related organizations and the local government are pouring out entrepreneurship programs. But in many cases, this is just an exhibition administration. And it is a clear fact that there is a lack of specific guidelines that entrepreneurs need. What about the mind of a founder who jumped into the front line of entrepreneurship without a compass? Still, isn't it this just imagine the emptiness of starting a business where you have to generate income on your own after receiving a full monthly salary, stable or not? So I thought about what kind of help I could give to a person who wants to start a trading business to the reality as a person who has gone through such a teaching situation first. There are many books on trade in commercial bookstores. I have also prepared such books and have been reviewing for many hours to see what kind of method would help those who dream of trading business to perform practical tasks, not just the trade theory. So the trade business guidelines. Considering that there is no proper guide, which is one of the biggest problems that trade entrepreneurs generally face, I thought it would be desirable to serve as an efficient guide. So what should you do first? Yes, there should be an item selection right away. Don't try to find complicated and difficult items. Start with the item that you can always see around our lives. No item is guaranteed to be successful from the start. The item that I have been trying to trade by developing a new item in recent years is an item that anyone can see, as there are as many as 20,000 manufacturers in Korea. It is most especially for women. Now that the provisional item has been formed, what should we do? Trade practice lectures and books explain this and that. However, based on numerous experience in the first year, The work was carried out based on the library knowledge gained in the field. We requested polling import data from trade-related organizations that have a branch office around the world and secured a list of companies that can supply domestic product. Now I would like to present to you the method that I have actually practiced and experienced. First, what is the first thing to do when the data is collected and the work is ready to be executed? First, contact the domestic manufacturer of the item you want to promote. So you need to select a partner after contacting several places. The selection of partners at this stage is very important. After partner company is selected, among the items produced by the company, items to be introduced to overseas buyers must be selected. Second, how should I contact domestic manufacturers? First, send an email to the company you have secured and make a phone call to identify the person in charge. Once the person in charge is identified, visit the business in person and have a face-to-face conversation with the person in charge. Good result in trading business start from establishing good human relations with the people related to the business you want to pursue. So, if an item is designated after visiting several companies, the next step is to make trade offers to overseas buyers in various ways. Different ways? What is this? Fluent English skill? In-depth trade theory? That alone isn't enough. What you absolutely need is a fiery passion. What does fiery passion mean? It is a way to survive without fear, beating down your morals and holding blood tears in your heart. If you work together in trade practice and keeps TV, you will be able to learn trade theories and terms that are mainly used in practice, and your English will also improve to a skill that is not inconvenient to carry out trade work. Fourth, success law of trading skills. For those who start a business without any experience or connection to trade, trade is a very attractive trade. Even if you do not have special skills or capital like a manufacturer, there is a way to build wealth through trade, and there are many opportunities to pursue your dreams all over the world without being bound by academic tie or regional ties. However, not everyone can become successful in business. Many people set out to start a trading business and then drink the bitter cup of failure. Due to the nature of trade transactions, it takes a lot of time to reap a stable income, and there are many cases of giving up halfway without being able to settle down. In my case, fortunately, after 5 years of starting my business, I had the opportunity to earn a stable income. And from the 10th year, I was able to live with pride as a trader. So after starting a trading business, it is a matter of holding on for a long time with the greatest goal on earth. No matter what, you have to survive Isn't it our life that no one can predict how life will unfold in the future? And to do that, you shouldn't chase the money floating in front of your eyes. Money must follow me. Ironically, money stays with those who know how to manage it. Second is trust. Whether it is an overseas customer or a domestic supplier, trust is an asset. It is said that even if you lose your way sometimes, you should never lose your trust. That's because the world of trade is complicated, and in order to succeed in trade, you must follow luck as well as your own effort. In order to survive in the trading field, we need patience to know how to wait patience and wisdom to lead and move the heart of overseas customers. If you do this, I assure you that you too can become a successful trading CEO. It is true that succeeding as a trading business is as difficult as picking stars from the sky. You should not forget that there are definitely people who achieve their dreams through trading startups. I'm also one of those who have achieved their dreams through entrepreneurship. I spent a fun day with my family without worrying too much, together with a kid, cat, and dog. I gaze at the evening slowly and take leisurely walk along the riverside every day. Under the shade of the terrace, I enjoy leisurely and peaceful life, playing a guitar and drums while enjoying music. You can do it too. Have a firm belief that I can do it too. Lastly, Kim's Cove TV is content related to trade practice and trade English that will help you practice trade, and we try to stay together for a long time. Your like and subscribe give me a lot of strength. Thank you.